Welcome, viewers and the drivers. Welcome to Zambian Network TV, where today we are further discussing the pending strike by the drivers on the Zambian borders, particularly concerning the transit visa fees that the Zambian government has been charging the drivers when they exhaust their 90-day visa allocation. So joined with me today, we are joined with the people on the ground, people who are really affected and people who are the movers of the goods across the SADC region. So today it's quite an interesting. Well, see, the day before yesterday, we were talking to authorities, people who are in the trade unions, but today we are really faced with the people who are geared to make this stoppage happen if care is not taken. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Mr. Fanizo. You can introduce himself, who he is, and what his views about the coming strike.
All right. My name is Pranitha James. I'm a truck driver working in South Africa, but originally I come from Malawi. Uh, Regarding this coming strike, I welcomed it wholeheartedly because I'm one of the victims, in fact, as regard to this issue of 90 days and the transit permit in Zambia. So it's a welcome idea. It's just unfortunate that us as drivers, we have resorted to boycott. We should say boycott entering Zambia from the 16th. Simply because our leaders from different associations have exhausted all the channels in regards to try to communicate with the Zambian government so that at least maybe they can hear us out, our cries for this transit permit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I like you rephrasing it boycott, not a strike. I like that term that we are boycotting going through Zambia if this is not addressed. Um, let's hear from Baba Enroj. What is your take of this pending pending boycott? Now we are now calling it boycott, no longer strike or stoppage.
Okay. Let's say good afternoon to my host and all the viewers. My name is Posta Wandrai. I'm a truck driver. Currently, I'm doing Namibia, Zambia, DRC, Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa route. So the situation on the ground at the moment is that our movement system is being struggled by the immigration system or the law, which is making our movements a bit tougher, especially crossing the borders into Zambia. Mostly, we are troubled and harassed and sometimes arrested if you just bypass the immigration laws. But our main factor here is the 90-day system, which is prohibiting drivers to pass through Zambia if the 90-day period elapses, which is the challenge which we are asking the authorities not to include us on the public interface of regulation, especially like visitors. Yes, we can be termed as visitors, but our visit into Zambia or our purpose of entry into Zambia is not a general purpose. We are on essential purpose, which means we are delivering goods into the country or passing through the country. That is to benefit Zambia and also to benefit SADC countries or other countries which are included as stakeholders. So as of now, this 90-day period, if it elapses, you are forced to buy a transit permit, which will allow you to use Zambia route for a year, of which previously it was pegged now at 12,000. Now I had it reduced to 4.5. But to my point of view, as a driver, as long as you put restrictions in entering the country, it's a disturbance in trade systems and free trade zones and free movement of goods and passengers or people, which means that restriction is going to damage the economy. Because if I'm refused to enter, which means by the end of the day, one, either my job is going to get lost. I can't say finished because I'll be fired. Or the goods which are supposed to enter in time is going to be delayed. So the client will receive the goods at a later stage instead of their intended time. So it's a damage both sides. Also to the transporter, they will count days. How many days were you on the way? So if I am refused entry into Zambia, the damage also comes to the transporter because it would delay his truck to reach the offloading point in time. Thereby, him is also losing. So it's a long story, but let me just end here for now.
Thank you very much, Baba Enrod. And you brought some very interesting points. The first point is, as drivers, you are troubled, you are arrested, and with the Zambian authorities, and it's all about the immigration and the law. And you really pointed out that you would prefer, as drivers, as to be treated as people who are in the essential services area, and so that you are not just treated like any other person entering Zambia. It is really
Yes.
and people joining us. You can put your comments, and so that we can be responding to your comments if we are listening online. Let me come to Mr. Nyati. Where are you joining us from, and what's your take on this important stoppage? We are calling it a stoppage. It's no longer boycott, not a stoppage or strike. We are boycotting the Zambian border.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, everybody. We give it the term boycott because we avoid to inconvenience everybody, and we avoid certain laws that can come back to us. So if we boycott, it comes with a huge impact, whereby the economy of Zambia will then suffer huge blows in terms of revenue collection. Now, coming back to the issue of the transit permit, it is an issue that has brought a lot of stress, suffering, and segregation to truck drivers that pass through Zambia as non-Zambian citizens. So let me cancel that call. Someone is trying to disturb. I have to block it. Okay, thank you. Sorry for that disturbance. So I was saying the transit permit is something that has brought a lot of segregation in the sense that someone was assuming that it has to be paid for by the transporter. But now they are forgetting certain questions. How can you dictate that to companies that are outside the borders of Zambia? How can you enforce that? You are in Zambia, you put such a law. How can you enforce it then to a company that is, say, in South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique? How can you enforce and make sure that the transporter is the one paying? That's one question. Then question number two, those same companies, they still have a choice if you do that. They can say, okay, you're too expensive to work with. Therefore, I'm going to take the Zambians who don't pay when they are entering their country. Then it leaves us who are non-Zambian without jobs. That's the second part of it. Then thirdly, Zambia is seeming to be taking advantage of the fact that the copper-rich Katanga region of DRC, the only passage to that region is through Zambia. So whether you are from Walvis Bay, you are from Beira, you are from Dar es Salaam, you are from Kenya, you still have to pass through Zambia. So it's like they are saying you cannot do without us. Or therefore, they've brought this transit permit and they say as a form of revenue collection. We have never heard that. It's dismaying to call it revenue collection. So we contribute to their revenue. How is that? How can that be when we are not tourists? We are not tourists. We are visiting your home as messengers, as postmen, to come and deliver your parcel. Therefore, to deliver your parcel, you have to charge me. What sense does it make? All countries, gentlemen, they have this 90-day thing. It is there, which was, of course, brought by people who are non-African. It is there in my country, in Namibia, South Africa, everywhere, I think international. But we look and compare notes. What do they do in regard to that when it comes to a truck driver? They exempt. That's what they do. Namibia, where I'm coming from, they don't count. Even if they find one is driving a Namibian truck and is not Zambian, they don't. They only come hard and threaten to arrest you, but they won't stop that truck from moving. And they won't count days. There's no country which is counting days, except Zambia. So if it is Zambia which is counting days and they are getting some money, now they are saying they've reduced to 4,500. 4,500 kwacha times 100 drivers. That's 450,000 kwacha. So what more times 500 drivers, for example? And we hear rumors that the same transit permit is not stated in their constitution. So it raises questions. We are not Zambians. We don't want to dig into most of the details. It's not our issue. But to sideline us as truck drivers, consider the consignment, consider the truck, talk about the free movement of the economy, free movement of goods, talk about open borders, talk about one-stop borders, 24-hour borders, but you exclude the driver, you still leave the essential service person in the category of a mere traveler. That's what we find to be very unfair. And at the same time, it brings bullying from some of the immigration officers, intimidation from them. You have to check who is there, you have to hide from them, you have to think, when are you stamping? You have to meet certain questions pertaining to the transit permit. So it's very, very unfair. Yet, on the flip side of the coin, them, the Zambian citizens who are truck drivers, they move around, they traverse freely in the region to any country, except for DRC, of course, with a visa. But that visa thing is applicable to every Zambian, not just truck drivers. So there's a difference there. They're supposed to take note of that. The visa, the $50 visa in DRC is applicable to anybody as long as you're a Zambian. So it's an issue that cannot be tackled by merely truck drivers. No, but the leaders of the nations, they can go into that, but not us. So there's a difference. So they must stop comparing to say, you guys are comparing, are complaining of the transit permit, yet us who are paying the visa into Congo. Those are two different issues. I think for now, let me take a break there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyati, and you brought quite some very thought-provoking sentiments, issues about segregating non-Zambian drivers, issues about the question: where did this come from? I think you brought out a very interesting point. That is it enshrined in their law, and if it's not in their law, where are they coming from? What is the motive? I think these questions, they're just mounting. We are joined with our leadership, Mr. Chilanga. Do you want to add on to anything? I think there are mind-blowing ideas coming up in this discussion. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me just clap my hands to the points which has been raised by my fellow leaders here. I think maybe in my past interviews, I missed some of the points, but here they have managed to review everything. So let me just give the floor to them so that they should speak more. Since them, they are the drivers on ground facing this problem. Me, I've talked a lot. For them, it's their time now to say whatever they have so that the world should know what brought us to this program of the truck stoppage or the boycotting of Zambia on 16th. So I'm sure these guys, they have put full information why drivers they are not going to they are not going into Zambia on this date. So let me give them chance so that they should point up some more views on this issue. Thank you, comrade.
Thank you very much. I like you are giving this platform is for drivers. We are just here
Exactly.
to listen and learn, because they are the people who are on the road all the time, and they are ones that are being harassed. They are the ones that are being arrested whenever they are found without a permit within the Zambian borders. And this
Exactly.
stoppage is not going to be averted unless I was looking through the internet to say the drivers are saying, even if they put it to 50 kwacha, we are not prepared to pay that. Is that true, Mr. Fanizo?
Exactly. This is very true. What we want is an exemption from the drivers. I have information, even though that information I'm not fully aware of it about the tourists. Before they said the tourists were required to buy visa when entering Zambia. Then they managed to remove that visa. So what is it that difficult for them to remove from the drivers who are bringing in economy into their country, to boost their economy? They are bringing goods to boost the economy into the country. Is it difficult to remove all the countries inside the region? We talk of Botswana, we talk of Zimbabwe, we talk of South Africa. We go there freely. They just give us days. When your days are finished, it's either you go back to the border to extend if your business is not yet done in that country. But when it comes to Zambia, it's a hassle, it's a headache. It's a headache to the driver. Imagine you think of the police on the road, you think of the thieves on the road, then you come to the border, instead of you to rest, you start thinking of the immigration. How are you going to stamp your passport if your days are over? For instance, in my case, I normally come to Zambia maybe 4 times in a month. Then for a trip, I spend about 6-7 days in Zambia. Then I go out. So if you count those days, you find that only within 3 months I will exhaust my 90 days. How am I going to work for the rest of the year? Imagine. When I tell my employer about this permit, he says no. The issue is between you, your passport, and the immigration. So us, we are not we are taking no part on that issue. So you have to buy it on your own. If I don't buy it, which means automatically I'm losing my job. So if anything, the Zambian authorities, the Zambian government should think of this. We still have time. Monday is a business day. They can make a decision within today and tomorrow. They can make a decision before Monday, and we can sort out this thing.
And I like that result. We are giving them today and tomorrow to put their house in order.
Yes.
Baba Enroj, if
Yes.
the Zambian immigration says it's now going to be 20 kwacha, are you going to change your mind?
Let me put it in simple terms. Let's say I send you to my house to deliver a parcel. Then, when you reach there, you are asked to pay for that delivery. Instead of me, the one who sent you, or the receiver, to pay for the delivery that I made, you tell the messenger that you are supposed to pay. How will that make you feel? You know, sometimes we can discuss and try to separate everything, because everything can be separated, but this transit permit, it's something like a tie. We are being hanged alive. So sometimes we move or travel to other countries, and we don't find that same system in our SADC region or the nearby countries. Then it's difficult for us to understand the reason behind why we are being charged to come and deliver goods in a country as messengers. So this case, we are saying even a 20 ngwe is not worth for us to pay. Why? Because we are messengers. We are being sent to make the economy grow. We are being sent to deliver food to the same people who are charging us that money. We are the ones who are bringing in the medication that can make these guys or the whole Zambia be healthy. You see, some goods are for mines, for the economy to grow. So why do you charge the one who's delivering you a service? That's my question. So we are saying even a one ngwe is not worth for us to pay. We must pay nothing to deliver goods in a country or passing by the country, because we are messengers delivering products or goods into a country or out of the country, because we are also loading in the same country, the Zambian country. We are loading copper from there. We are loading maize bran or whatever product which is going out, which they are going to charge for duty by the border, which they are charging the clients the price of that kind of thing or whatever product they are selling. So why do you charge the same driver who's delivering goods which you have already sold to another client or to another country? It's disturbing sometimes.
Yeah, I like the well put together scenario to say I've been sent to deliver a parcel to our neighbor. Then our neighbor expects me to pay them for bringing them their parcel. That's amazing. That's amazing. What do you think, Mr. Nyati? If they say it's now 10 kwacha, would you change your mind?
It's a anonymous decision, collective decision. that we have to make, because we are many. We are all the countries mentioned and all the drivers. If a good number says, okay, we can let it go, we will do that. If they say no, we don't, because as we speak, I'm not speaking in my individual capacity. I speak for those who cannot articulate their views properly, but they can ask someone to articulate and stand for them. So that is which we are doing here. So some they can see it as incitement, but it's not incitement. People choose who can represent them fluently and eloquently. That's the reason we are at the front. So if we revert back and then they say, no, it's cool, guys, it's nothing we can try and afford. Drivers are not getting much. The economy is biting, things are very tough. And we are saying we are all Africans. Why do we have to treat each other like that when we are Africans? If you look in our map there, we're having Zambia, we're having Malawi, and we have Zimbabwe. That was the Nyasaland and the Northern Rhodesia and Southern Rhodesia. It was one country. We speak the same language, we have the same culture. The same with Uganda, Tanzania, whatever, South Africa. We live the same type of life. Therefore, why make stringent conditions for especially truck drivers? Why make it so stringent and even call it revenue collection? That revenue goes to where? If that revenue is paid, it benefits who? Well, they have the answer, but you cannot classify drivers you put them in the same pot in the category like tourists to say how many drivers came in, did they buy the transit permit? We could have realized so much. No. That is somehow not good treatment of one another. So we are not happy with that. It creates misery whereby we have a lot of other problems driving through Zambia, which we hope that someday it can be a thing of the past. But then to add to the point of then charging drivers for coming into Zambia, that is something else. And it is segregating non-Zambian drivers not to come into Zambia. So therefore, in other words, put in reverse, the message that Zambia is sending is that only Zambians should work in the southern region, isn't? Only Zambians should work. Because every company is going to say the Zambians are affordable, they are feasible in the industry, they are affordable. So therefore, you who must pay in Zambia, I can't take you, get out of my truck. I'll put someone. Get out of my truck, or you can go to Mozambique, or you can go to Angola. But I don't have loads for that side. I'm only going to Zambia, so I'm using Zambians. But yet the same Zambians are allowed to drive to Malawi, Mozambique, to Namibia, to Botswana, and when they reach the port of entry, they are asked, when only driver, that's Botswana, when only driver, key driver, all right, they give you unyaka how many days? They'll give you those days which you want. You want 7 days, you want 14, you want 21. The same in South Africa. You put your reflector, your helmet, your documents. Mina ngo driver. How many days are you comfortable with? Where are you going? The same applies to Zimbabwe. The same applies to Mozambique. The same applies to Namibia. Namibia is very strict. They give only 14. But they allow you to extend if those days are finished and you did not finish your business. Then why Zambia not do the same? Yet they are saying they want to make free movement of goods. Free movement, what about the person who's operating that vehicle?
Wow. Free movement of goods, but maybe they are thinking they are now with the self-drive, the new automatic ones. I don't know. Maybe they are far ahead in the future. I don't know.
It drives back to one point, my brother, whereby only Zambians are allowed to drive those trucks. Because at this point, you find that a lot of Zambians they are crossing borders, but they are not aware that non-Zambian drivers they are buying the transit permit. They are not aware. Why they are not aware? Because they are not asked.
Oh, do we ever have a conversation with our Zambian counterparts, the drivers, and what are their views with respect to how we are treated with the authorities?
Yes,
Yeah, of
we
course.
do. A good. Sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying I wanted to say the same thing. We do have a good number of drivers who are aware of this, and they feel ashamed when we talk about this thing. They feel ashamed. It's only a few, if not maybe only those that are not doing cross border. They are not aware of this, but the good number of them who are doing cross border, they are aware of this thing.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. But I think I was thinking about this, and I think this message need to go even to the SADC region as a whole, because I think authorities sometimes they don't see the impact. But that's why I put this map there. Every country in
Yes.
the SADC region is affected, and I think someone actually said there is a copper rich uh, region in the DRC, and we can see all the routes are going there either to take copper from there or bring in chemicals for the processing of that, which means it becomes a hive of activity there to enrich the economy of uh, southern Africa or the SADC.
Yes.
What is the response of SADC as a region to this pending boycott? Are they aware of the impact? Anyone can come in if your thoughts. There's no wrong or right answer. It's our views because we are not in those offices. We can only speculate.
Yes, in our case, we wrote to SADC. The response was that they said they summarized the later, then they further escalated to the higher office for recognition, and that was that. Since then, we never got any response. It's really a big challenge in the sense that I don't know why sometimes we are regarded as people who are illiterate or people who don't think. It's not always the case, or that maybe we will just make noise and then we will forget. So they buy time, they drag, like what the Director General was doing in 2022, to delay until we somehow sleep on it. So that delaying, it causes them to come back now and then hit us with a hike, inflate the price maybe times 2, times 3, where now is beyond reach. So it's a big challenge. It's not a joke, and they won't respond again in the sense that they are not affected. They are really not affected. They don't feel it. They work, these gentlemen, up to maybe 4. Some they wake up to 3, go home, sleep in a nice house, enjoy a shower, enjoy a good life. A driver does not enjoy a good life. A driver goes through a lot of strife. The list is endless. Breakdowns, bad roads, harassment. So it's the driver who is feeling the heat there. And yet the driver is not represented by anyone to stand for them. It's like driver are said not to have rights. To be short and straight, drivers are regarded as people who don't have rights. So what you meet is that either you'll be forced to move, whether you like it or not. Your rights are not going to be listened to, or you are going to be called names. So to present that as a problem and find someone who's going to give us attention and the put regard to our problem, it's really a big challenge. Otherwise, people just shun the industry. The good drivers, the professional drivers, they quit. They leave the industry because it's very bad what is happening inside there.
I just want to add to what you have just said. You mentioned to say these authorities they think you don't know nothing. I can attest to you that from the time we are now about half an hour into this discussion, I have learned
Yes.
more about the free movement of goods from you guys than what I have read or what I have, because you are on the ground every day. I remember there was
Yes,
someone who made a contribution to say when you are traveling, whether you are from South Africa, from wherever, on the road, you are exposed to vandalism, you are
yes,
exposed to extreme weather, all
yes,
sort of all sorts of challenges, and you have to
yes,
be mentally and physically ready to face this. Only then to say
yes,
when you come to the border, you are facing even further. Ladies and
yes,
gentlemen, it's just you are I think you are the most valuable assets of our economy, but we are not appreciating it.
yes,
And this is the message I'm sending to the immigration authorities in Zambia and to whoever works in any influential position within the SADC region and the SADC secretariat, to say when they
yes,
say they just summarized your letter and send it to higher offices, if do they have a protocol to say when an issue come to them, how do
yes,
they deal with it? How do they respond? Do they have time frames? When I hand in my letter to the SADC secretariat, do they give me any indication to say we will respond to you within such a period of time, depending with the agents of the? I don't know. Um,
they
so
don't, my brother. So, sorry, let me take that shot with the reference. They don't. In 2022, we had a Zoom meeting just like this one with the Director General. In the end, he asked, so in other countries, how do they treat this issue of 90 days? He was asking. Now, we were dismayed to say, how come he doesn't know?
Hmm.
You understand? He is the first person who's supposed to know because
Oh,
he is in a higher office and he's someone we expect to have a louder and a broader knowledge of these things. But he's the one asking us, so guys, how do you want it to be? And in those countries where you go, how do they treat this issue of 90 days? What do they do? Then we're like, is he not supposed to research? Maybe if he doesn't know, is he not supposed to share notes or even read deeper and compare what other countries do before putting into law this 90 this transit permit law thing? You are supposed to research and compare what other countries are doing. But now he's coming to us to ask so that we tell him what they do.
oh
So it automatically brings a challenge.
wow, it's quite interesting because even me with my little podcast here, before I say I'm coming, I go to ask brother Google to say what
Yes,
is the current situation, so that when I'm talking,
yes,
at least because he was the most powerful person in the room, he must be the one
yes,
who is giving answers, not seeking answers.
yes.
Um, right. Okay. We don't want to uh, spend a lot of our time. Um, this was a meeting to say you as drivers send a message, one to the Zambian authority, two to the SADC region, and to your fellow drivers. So I'll give
Yes.
each one of you either 1 minute, 2 minutes, so that you say what are your message. If this issue is not resolved by this time tomorrow, by this time on Monday, the boycott is on. I start with you, Baba Enrod. I think his bandwidth might be struggling. You can go ahead, Mr. Nyati. I think his
Hello?
bandwidth is. Hello. We can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Sorry, there was a disturbance on the interruption with the call.
Okay.
Let me try to give flashback first before I go into what you said or what you are asking. Um, remember the time of COVID-19. That was a hard time for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Hello? Are you
Hello.
getting me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay. There was a call. Sorry. We traveled from country to country during that same period of hard time of the COVID. We were taken as essential people who are delivering essential goods into different countries. But if I tell you that the hardest time that we were getting in those deliveries was in Zambia, it will be a shock to you. Because sometimes we were kept for days. They were saying we are waiting for the COVID to show up in your body. If you are sorry, are you getting me?
Yeah, we are now getting you now. We ended when you said during that time, the longest time you were spending on the Zambian border when they were saying we are waiting for your COVID results. We can't proceed unless your results are out. That's where we lost you.
Oh, okay. I was trying to say we could cross into Zambia. Then, if you are using, by that time we were using Livingstone route, going to Lusaka, that was the designated route. So you would go to Livingstone, you will be kept there for convoy and security, maybe 3, 4, 5 days. When you're out from there, you proceed to Lusaka. Lusaka, we were taken into a Zimra or what do you call it? ZRA customs yard, where we were being kept there for further testing and they needed maturity of that disease. If they see that you are having it, then they will say no, you are not proceeding. Then they will put you into whatever quarantine. So
Quarantine.
yes, so during that time, the hardest time we were having, it was in Zambia. We were traveling from here in Namibia. We were having checkpoints of being registering. They do some small tests. Are you having a headache? They put that kind of thing for temperature and what, But we were proceeding to the border. But when you reach in Zambia, it was hard times. We were sometimes taken to UNAM, that university. We were kept there. Then there's a time when even food was not supplied in time. You see, those were the challenges that we were having, but we were told we are essential goods, and we were the only people who were moving, the only people who were allowed to move in countries. All of the people, they were under quarantine. So from that take or from that side of view, how then now do you say that we are not important? But when there was a period when we were risking our lives, they knew that that disease is killing, but they were allowing us to pass through. Now, because it's not there anymore, we are no longer important. We are taken as kids from the crash that you can tell them jump or sleep or do whatever you can tell them. So In this case, we are saying to the government or the authorities of Zambia that it's very important not to take us lightly. We have got a lot of challenges on the way. Please don't add to that challenge. We have got a lot of stress. We are far away from the families. We have got problems on the road, breakdowns, as it was explained. We have got delays in the borders, customs. We have got police checkpoints. All those things, they are in one person. And the boss will be on my back. What are you doing? Why are you still there? Why are you not moving? Did you offload? Did you load? Why are you delaying? You see, all those are stresses that we are facing. So please try to reduce that stress by scraping out what is not necessary to be having to impose to the drivers. So all the protocols we have tried to follow up. We did, as it was explained, we did a Zoom meeting with the Director General. And he promised by that time we are going to reduce it by half. And it was 2022. From 2022 up to now, 2024, by the time the year that we want to have a stay away, that's when they will say we have reduced. Then what are we doing is same people? We are in the same nation. We are brothers and sisters. You see, we share the same common denominator. We are all blacks. Why do you have to impose such laws to your fellow brother who is bringing food on the table? It's a struggle. We are suffering, but we don't mention it. But it's very bad for us. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we are joined with the Goodwill and the Mr. Mkarati. We were almost rounding up, but we give you an opportunity to give us your views. We have discussed the challenges, and we are calling it boycotting the Zambian borders, not a stoppage or strike. So I just give you, Mr. Mkarati, an opportunity to give your views on the pending boycott on Monday.
Thank you so much. Sorry for my network, that has been a challenge and a problem. What I would like to encourage my fellow drivers and the leadership is this thing that we have come up with is one of its kind, and we need to urge everybody to remain on course. Zambia is the first point of call, and this is not the beginning. I mean, just the beginning, and it's not the end. Further things are going to come, and we are going to try and bring sanity to the region, which is the SADC region, COMESA, and East African community. So drivers should stay resolute. Better things are going to come. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkarati. And I also give an opportunity to Goodwill. You're muted.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes. My views for this stay away is I urge all drivers come together. The chance only comes once, so it's our time now to show that we are united. And I'm asking especially police for Chirundo, police Zimside Chirundo. They must help us. It's Zimside. All other countries, we gave them a notice that they try to help us to stop anyone who is gonna want to go. So it's them. Because if his driver sees someone want to go, that means the drivers will react. Now it will be not a peaceful protest. So police must come in and stop those guys, those drivers who are gonna think of their journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we are winding up. I was of the opinion that maybe at some point tomorrow we can regroup, just to emphasize the message that we are remaining resolute. And I don't know if we have got any views in terms of what time is comfortable with the people, so that we can regroup again, just to encourage each other, put the message out there. It might be just re-emphasizing what we have just emphasized today.
Okay, I think to that, my suggestion personally will be in the evening, because Zambia has got a parking time whereby they put a ban to night driving. So when it comes to 19, 20 hours there, most of drivers, they are coming to a halt. They're coming to park. So if a safe place and park. So I think that time it can be suitable.
Okay, all right.
But I have a quick short message to the leaders. If they get to get the ear of this clip, this broadcast, our plea, this is a plea. We are not fighting. It is a plea. We are pleading with you, leaders. We are not fighting. We don't mean to disobey. We don't mean it to be anything, but it's a plea. Our earnings, they are not big. We drive big things. Drivers are driving big things, but our earnings, they are very paltry. Comes to a point where drivers are suffering of stress and they are not able to take care of themselves, not to speak of families. You can hear your kid is sick at home with the mother, with your wife, and you have nothing to send there. Or you can fall sick while you are in transit. You can't take yourself to a doctor because you have no money. All the money is gone. It's always finished. And please, some of these authorities, they must stop this notion, this assumption that drivers, they drive big things, therefore they have big money. That assumption must please come to an end. It must stop. We're human beings. Drivers are human beings deserving a decent and a better life. They have a right to life, to live freely and stress-free. Stress brings accidents. Let's consider all that. A stress-free worker is a good worker and is a productive worker. That's my plea to the leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we can bring this to a close. And as a host channel, we just send a message to the authority to say you have heard it from the horse's mouth. The ball is in your court, to consider what you now know what you have to do. Even a 10 kwacha is not acceptable. So it's a matter of revisiting this transit permit fee. And for now, and I thank you all for joining me, and those who are joining us online, and those who will watch us afterwards. You can still reach out to us if you've got any message, you've got any suggestions. We will put it forward to the leaders of the unions so that it can be passed to everybody else. So thank you very much, everybody else, for joining, and we will regroup tomorrow around 2000 hours, the Central African time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bye.